Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everybody. Hi, Dr. Nick. What do we got going on today? It's a question everyone has. What is going on today? Hello, 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 hello. Lots of interesting severe weather coming up for tomorrow into Wednesday. And we got the latest models here that we're going to be taking a peek at just to really look at this all as a whole. Lots and lots. Hey, preacher, how you doing, buddy? Nice to see you back in here, bud. No, there's a lot of questions being asked as to what type of severe weather is going to happen tomorrow. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, what's going to happen tomorrow?" Because they see these models here and they see this giant swath of some upper level jets going on up into about 140 miles per hour. Yeah, I mean that would look scary. You know, you're hearing tornado outbreak, you're seeing 140-mile-per-hour winds on the upper level jets, and even on the ones that's closer to the ground level, right around here, it's just gonna start erupting through pretty much all of Ohio, and you're getting almost 100-mile-per-hour winds. Not now, Patrice. Hey there, how are you? So no, a lot of people are like, what is going on over here and what can we expect? So, when you start looking at a whole, we have we have a lot of jets that's going to come into play. We also have some tornado parameters. As you can see here, earlier in the day, there's going to be a possible significant tornado parameter. When we start looking at these soundings here, we take a peek. We can see a marginal tornado risk. What we look at is it's going to be cooler temperatures. Dew point's going to be spot on with the temperatures. We're going to have a little bit of a cape and a little bit of that mixed layer for the lift, known as CINH. We're going to have some updraft. So what we have later on in the day is actually going to be this, and that is the concern a lot of people have, is it's so close to like Chicago, and when you start looking at some of these risks here, a lot of it's going to be hail. Hail is going to be a major risk. It just is. It could get up to 2-inch hail. Now I don't know what this sees up here in Michigan. I truly don't know what this sees. This is saying, hey, there's a good chance for a giant tornado to come through. But when you look at that here, that's going to be after daytime heating's all gone. It could just be a very random sounding. It could be contaminated for all we know. So don't pay too much attention. Hey, Gina, don't pay too much attention to just one sounding that does show that. We look at everything as a whole. Well, a big one is when we get into this very isolated and localized helicity meter. Helicity there, we're going to have that helicity. It's going to fire off during the day, like overnight. It's going to calm down into the early morning, into early afternoon. And then come tomorrow night, this is going to be where you have that chance for those nocturnal tornadoes. Is right here is right around midnight. Right around there is like midnight-ish, right around here. So, hoping to stay safe in Cleveland tomorrow. How's it looking for Chicago? Chicago, I mean, I don't see Chicago in itself being a threat by looking at the sounding, but around Chicago, especially down going into Indiana, portions of Ohio, and southern Michigan, that's where you're going to see your greatest risk for severe weather. Um, that's a big thing. And when you look here at your storm prediction center, right now we have a marginal for today, and then tomorrow is where we get into this slight risk. And when you look at the slight risk here, and we look at that tornado risk, we can see that they have put that 5% rate over here. So it's definitely going to be of concern, and that's what we're watching at. We're looking at the models. We look at numerous ones as well. The HRRR is a little bit more spot on, because it's not a very long run out model. Pretty much your biggest threat's going to be tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. Tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. You know, the Helicity here, the NAM is showing the Helicity is going to be an Indiana threat. I'm sorry, an Illinois threat. And then your HRRR is showing it's going to be a Indiana threat. So you got a couple different models. What we do know, what our confidence level is, basically Illinois, Indiana, portions of Ohio, and southern Michigan, this general area, we're definitely going to see severe weather. Now, the question is, spot on, can I tell you exactly what city we're going to have a tornado? No, I can't do that. No one can do that. We can have a good idea and a good guess as to what we think would be the most ideal position to intercept one once we start seeing what type of systems is actually being developed. You know, supercells, etc. Mid-Wisconsin, it's going to be much further south. That cold layer is sitting right above you guys. North Central Indiana, yes, tomorrow night, Krista, tomorrow night. North Central Indiana, especially right in this area, that's going to be, thank you, Healing, thank you for the hand hearts. That's going to be, right around this area, I assume, when you say North Central Indiana. And that is going to be your nocturnal. That's going to be your midnight to like 3 a.m. threat. So that's our general threat area. Thank you. Thank you. I see that popping up over there. Thank you, Healing. You're super awesome. Wow. Thank you very, very much. I've never seen one of those before. I like that. It's awesome. Thank you so much. So, you know, we look at our Helicity. We look at our cape values as well. You know, we're going to have some cape here. Now, the NAM is pushing the cape further west, whereas the HRRR is pushing... Thank you, Krista. Whereas the cape is being pushed further east. So, that's the NAM that's pushing it to the west. Now, our HRRR is putting it more over Indiana, Michigan, and that general area. Thank you, Healing. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Thank you. I love living in St. Louis. If it ain't murder, it's tornadoes. Oh, St. Louis. Mixed layer. This is where we see what type of updraft we can have, what type of lift capabilities. And you know, once nighttime hits, we see this very weird pattern over a train. What's a train? Thank you. Thank you so much for the train. Wow, thank you. We really do appreciate it. How is Ohio? Well, Ohio, I'm going to show you the composite, but right now, the Sin, which is your updraft, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Wow. Sweet dreams are made of these. Oh, thank you so much, Healing. I see you in here every so often. Much appreciated. I appreciate it so much. I heard there's things come across now. Thank you. So, your updraft is a Sin, and I want you to see, you can see kind of how it's like twisting about there. It's really twisting, and but we're going to have, you know, I think is there a 400? Yeah, look at that. Negative 433. Right? You're one of my favorites. I love watching you. Well, thank you so much. If you go live, I think I see you go live every so often. You pop up on my feed there. Thank you. Now, a lot of people questioning the composite reflectivity, and this is where we can get an idea, kind of an idea, like what we may expect. The sailaways. We did a lot with the sailaways when Titan, like right at the end of when Ocean Gate and Titan happened. And that was when they first introduced sailways. Thank you again. So this is what we're gonna have. So starting tomorrow morning, we're gonna have some storms in southern Indiana, southern Illinois get fired off. It doesn't hit until tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is when we start to see these storms start to come over Chicago and that same pattern of southern Illinois, southern Indiana into early morning. And now Ohio, there's going to be multiple bands of storms. We're going to have this first one coming through from Lima, Ohio, out to Cleveland. And then we're going to have one follow it from basically Cincinnati through Columbus, coming up into western Pennsylvania. And then we're going to have a giant one. Let me go nationwide. Let me show you nationwide on the HRRR what they're saying. For what you can see, pay attention into this area here. Pay attention. Need a new gift. Oh, Patrice. So I want you guys to see this. So this is tomorrow morning. We're gonna have a line of storms that comes through, and then we're gonna get that double whammy once they split up. You can see where right above Chicago there, it starts to really fire off. And we're going to see a giant line. Look at that giant line. It extends from Tennessee up into New York. And it's going to come across the entire region in throughout Wednesday. So the storms are really going to hit Wednesday morning for Ohio, Pennsylvania. And then it's just going to take off like such. Steven, thank you. Healing, I just saw the crown. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. You guys are awesome. Is Northeast Ohio going to be bad? It's not that it's going to be bad. We're going to Northeast Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, New York, West Virginia, Kentucky. Nice thunderstorms. Like that early spring thunderstorm. That early spring thunderstorm where you're going to be like, I can leave the windows open. It gives you a nice breeze. You hear the cracks of lightning. That type. You are very detailed. Appreciate your live streams. Thank you so much. Connecticut, New York, it's going to be a wet mess. It's going to be a wet mess up in there. It's going to get very disorganized. Do you go live if there's 20? I typically go live. So I have 8 monitors in front of me. So I actually have all of this. YouTube can see that right now. But let me see here. So I have 8 monitors in front of me, as you guys can see here. And all of these are active during severe weather. So that's where all the gifts go, is back into the live streams. So that way we can do what we do. Wow, nice setup. Yes. Nicole, Long Island Wednesday, a wet mess. It's going to be a wet mess out on the North and South Fork. I love Long Island, Nicole. Absolutely love Long Island. Lots of weather coming. Yes, Veronica, especially up near you guys. It's going to be a wet mess. Central Illinois tomorrow. Central Illinois, that's what we were just talking about, is that we have a couple different models. We have the European, the GFS, the HRRR, the NAM. There's the RFS. What is it? It's a new one. It's the RRFS. It's a beta model. This is a beta model. So, it'll say it's a prototype. So we can't use it for any official forecast. Wow. Cheer for you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Windy's not bad. If you're not too deep onto the weather side, windy is not bad. Thank you, Healing. Now, the RRFS here really shows this coming in a lot stronger. Comes in a lot stronger. Thank you so much. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Wow. Thank you so much. Let me show you. So I show, if you got like Healing, Veronica sent a feather flock. That's like snow. That's cute. That's like snow. I love that. Thank you. Seattle, you guys got a winter storm about to come through, believe it or not. You guys got a winter storm up in Seattle about to come through. I saw that pop up. I was like, what? Now, if you guys were in here the past 10 minutes, I showed you the NAM, I showed you the H-Triple-R. This is a prototype. Clarifying, this is a prototype. But this is a new model that they're working on and fine-tuning. This model is showing that there's going to be intense line of storms that come through basically the top half of Indiana, throughout Ohio, and then it becomes a little more organized once it gets into Ohio. So it's very, very interesting how they perceive this. And the significant tornado parameter, it's not the best tool to use, but it gives you a little bit of an idea. Now, the SIG Tor parameter is putting this on the prototype, emphasizing prototype, pretty much right over that Illinois portion. The good night, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Times tomorrow from like 7 p.m. into Wednesday, all throughout Wednesday. So starting for 7 p.m. out in Illinois, Indiana, 7 p.m. going through Wednesday as the storms progress. There's going to be like 3 lines of storms coming through New York, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Tennessee, Kentucky, and then going out. Now, the RRFS, that prototype model here, again, thank you so much, Healing. We have a lot more cape value, so that's going to bring you bigger hail. This one's really calling for hail. And what we do is when we look at hail is we look at, the dew points here, and we can see how the temperatures start to really drop off the higher you get up. So for those who don't know, hail is basically rain that falls and it gets pulled up and it goes into a cycle of hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. That's why if you ever get a piece of hail and it's big enough, you can crack it open. You can actually see the different layers inside of the hail piece, the hail core. And it gets cycled up in here and then it falls. And that's why they're calling for gorilla-sized hail tomorrow. If you have a car and you live in like Illinois, Indiana, or even Western Ohio, I'd be putting cardboard on your windshield or something, because you're going to be losing windshields. And you got 2-inch hail, which is like this, falling. You got, nice size hail falling down on you. Thank you, Healing. You guys are so awesome. You guys are fantastic. Bring on the storms. I live in central Illinois. I'm telling you guys, it's gonna be a very beautiful system here once it gets past all of those cape values that sit over Illinois and Indiana. It's gonna be very nice thunderstorms for Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, West Virginia. It's gonna be nice and relaxing. Southwest Michigan. Now, you're going to have to really be weather aware tomorrow. A lot of models do call that there could be a possible tornado risk for you guys, a nice-sized tornado risk. Now, we don't know how far that's going to extend up into Michigan. Southwest Michigan has been a little bit on the radar, though, for chasers, so just please be cautious there, Taj. Princeton, Illinois. So I don't know exact cities. So, like central Illinois, west central, east central, northeast, general areas. We don't do exact cities. We really generalize it to, hey, there's this area. And if I was to go chase, I would say my target area would most likely be this region. Right around here would be my region. I'm really thinking that we could see something that pops up right around here. Actually, in fact, pretty much this general area is where I would chase. I would chase in this general area. That's where I would go. Phase. Yeah, I mean, ideally, it's going to be questionable. It's going to be very questionable for Chicago. I think that Chicago could definitely see the severe weather, that severe weather threat we've been talking about here. Yeah, Brian, same thing. Like, if you're above Detroit, for the most part, I don't see you guys getting much severe weather. I really don't. Could be thunderstorms, yeah, but I'm not seeing you guys be this massive possible tornado risk that far up. Woodstock, Illinois sounds so familiar, and I don't know why. Is that near Champaign? 'Cause I know where Champaign is, or Champion, something like that. Yeah, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Fort Wayne's going to be right there in that convergence zone of where things start to go from like tornadic severe to general nice thunderstorms. Right along that Ohio border is where we're going to start to see the stabilization of the storms, and where they're going to break into squall lines basically and come across and just give you guys a really nice thunderstorm. Ah, gotcha, Lex. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, there's a risk there. I'm really targeting for south of Chicago, though. I'm really targeting for south of Chicago. I'm really targeting for south of Chicago. That's my big thing here. Let me see something here. Yeah, I'm really thinking here that it would be... I'm going to get this pulled up here. So, I am really going to think here, and we're going to throw up our day 2 tornado risk. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. Hold on. Okay, so here is our tornado risk. We have you have your 5% right in here, and you have your 2% down and around here. So that tornado risk extends from Missouri all the way up in Ohio, Michigan, and even a portion of Kentucky and Wisconsin. But you know, my biggest area of concern is more or less going to be, and I said this earlier on in the day. I said my target area would be pretty much right around here. You know, that would be my target risk. Now, I really don't see this happening, okay? Now, this is very possible to happen down and around here, like where they added that in. But my calculation was pretty spot on to what the Storm Prediction Center, the SPC, did. They're playing it safe. They're playing it safe with this 2% the whole way down here. They're just doing that. That's a precaution. I don't see massive tornadoes coming out of St. Louis. I truly don't. This is more of a threat at the Illinois, Indiana, and even possibly Ohio border. That's a big thing. So many people are quick to see a 2% and they get freaked out. You know, people way up past Lansing. It's like, ain't gonna touch anywhere near there. It's not gonna touch anywhere near up there. So same with Detroit, Hector. This threat is primarily going to be focused around where that brown turd looking is. Evansville. Thank you, Sadie. Thank you, username 123. Again, Southeast Ohio. Nice thunderstorms. Pretty much, guys, what we're going to be dealing with is super nice thunderstorms. The thunderstorms are going to... We're going to see a line of thunderstorms come through. We're going to see some come up this way. We're going to see some come this way. And then we're going to see a little bit come down this way, but not much. And that's just going to push through. Whoops. And we're going to see the nice thunderstorms like I was showing you. News always makes everything seem bad. Yeah, exactly. Again, guys, I don't do exact cities. I do generalized regions because trying to narrow into every small town is nearly impossible. So we look at pretty much a generalized region, and we go region by region. That's how we do weather. So, your biggest threat is going to be primarily Illinois, Indiana, and the portion of Michigan and Ohio. So, I feel SPC did a pretty good thing. Am I going to be expecting a 10% enhanced risk? No, I don't see a 10% TOR risk. I don't see a SIG TOR risk coming out I don't even see an enhanced risk. There, we may see a very slight sliver of an enhanced risk, but something would have to really pop off for them to upgrade it to a level 3. And I just don't see that happening. I don't see a level 3. Has Indiana always been next to Ohio? Yes, it has. Yes, it has. And best part of Cincinnati's right there at Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio. And again, if you're not in the brown, I really wouldn't worry. I truly think that this is going to be a risk where you see the brown above me. That brown is going to be your biggest risk. So on the south side of Chicago, like Chicago's not even technically in it. It's just north of Chicago. I'm sorry, Chicago's just north of it. This is mainly going to be south. Wherever you see that brown, I think that that's going to be the best area for tornadoes. Everyone else, enjoy the nice thunderstorms. That's the best part. Enjoy the very nice thunderstorms. 5%, Ronnie. It's a 5% risk. And 5% is a fairly good risk. This is the very first storm for tornado season 2024. Nashville. You're funny with the Nashville, bud. You're funny with the Nashville. I have to work tomorrow, hoping power doesn't go out while I'm vacuuming clients' houses. I mean, it depends. I don't know how that area is. I know some areas, they run underground power. The others, they have them up on the poles, and they just go down the line. Now, you could have arc flashes. That happens. So, hopefully there's no power outages. That's the best case scenario. There's no power outages. How about Bryan, Ohio? Again, I don't do direct cities there, even. I don't do specific cities. We go and do a region, and we do that regional outlook. I have school. I'm hoping no power goes off. Well, they got Jennies. They got generators, so no need to worry too much about that. They got generators. Risk level is 5% there, Wyatt. 5% risk. 5% risk. So, great questions there. Be sure to tap the follow button if you are new here. We'll be live tomorrow, going over everything, and that's what we look at the models. We look at pretty much everything on a scientific level. What's your Kate values looking like? What's your uplift looking like? Your temperatures, your dew points. We start looking at all the jets. We have access to see what's happening closer to the ground level here, and which is why we see what we did with this nice updraft coming, or this nice jet stream coming through Indiana, Ohio. What's happening on that upper level as well, which would be here. This is your upper level, which is why a lot of people got concerned as to what's happening, is because we're going to see basically a massive 130, 140 mile per hour jet stream coming overhead here. Your Sony Alpha camera with you on the commute. I would. Might as well. Here we go. This better not be April 2019 straight line winds. Straight line winds can be a bit worse than your typical tornado, your low-level tornado. It's a big thing. Again, Avon, I don't do direct areas. I cover a wide range. I cover a range here. Different colors are your levels, pretty much. So it goes off of knots. So your wind speed, obviously, yellow and gold is going to be your highest level, and then obviously your blue is like very low level winds. Oh yeah, Eero, thank you. Miss Toy, thank you guys. So, where are we? How about Eastern Michigan? Again, Eastern Michigan, I think that's where we're going to start to see stabilization, and we're not going to see as much of that severe weather. Thunderstorms, yes. Oh, Ohio, thunderstorms. I really think Ohio is going to be primarily thunderstorms. I don't see too much of it being a tornadic thunderstorm. Is it possible? Yes, but if anything, it's going to be nocturnal and it's going to be overnight. It's a big thing is overnight tornadoes. We broadcast live out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They're healing Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. In Northeast Illinois, that's going to be your target area, Juliana. That's you know, when you start, if it's south of Chicago, that's going to be your greatest risk for a tornado. Above Chicago, I don't see too much of like there's going to be a threat, but I don't see it being that major. San Antonio, Texas. There you go. San Antonio, Texas. Man, I tell you what, Texas, they had that heat bubble over them for like 2-3 months straight. Every day it seemed like it was over 100 degrees. I could never live that way. Whew. Yeah, so, yeah, Fort Wayne, Fort Wayne, even going out to Lima, Ohio. So basically from Lima, Ohio, out to Bloomington, Illinois is going to be in that greatest risk for a tornado tomorrow. Humidity, yeah, let me tell you what, the humidity is absolutely terrible. Especially when everything's sticking to you. Oh, no, thank you. And Thomas, Pennsylvania, over here in Pennsylvania, New York, West Virginia, and eastern Ohio, we're going to have some real nice thunderstorms. Nothing too severe, maybe the occasional hail core. Mostly just nice thunderstorms. Northeast Illinois, pretty much, Juliana, 5% risk. Now, 5% is a pretty good risk for a tornado. It's not like your typical weather radar. It's like, oh, there's a 70% chance of rain. It doesn't go that high. No, it doesn't go that high. It's they look at it as a whole when Storm Prediction Center issues their outlooks every single day. Northwest Ohio, yeah. So even Northwest Ohio is going to be where you do see that potential risk. You know, again, pretty much from Lima out to Bloomington. You know, including Jasper. Or I'm sorry, Juliet. So it's definitely there's definitely the risk present there. That's what we look at on a whole level. But you know, I would really say Northeast Illinois, Central to Northeast Illinois, East Central, Northeast. Pretty much if you're in that brown area, definitely be weather aware. Could a spin-up tornado be possible in the green area? Yeah, it's always possible, but for what we're looking at, it's highly unlikely. Yeah, Bree. And these storms are going to be nocturnal. They're going to start roughly from about 7 p.m. and they're going to be nocturnal, so they're going to continue throughout the overnight hours. Oh, Norfolk, you'll be fine, Oscar. Norfolk, you'll be fine. You know, how strong would the tornadoes be? I'd have to say at a high end EF2, because it's not even wind speed it goes off of. Technically, it goes off of damage. Damage to a house is then calculated into a wind speed estimate. So these houses are built fairly well. So it could even be an EF1, you know? It's not going to be like EF3, EF4. I don't see that in any way, shape, or form. You know, because we're battling a very, very massive cold issue. It's cold outside. You know, if this was, you know, getting up to 70 degrees with a dew point of 67, 68, yeah, we'd be looking at a lot more issues. But right now, we're looking at, like, you know, almost like a winter tornado. It's not your typical system. Yeah, Champagne's involved. Yeah, Champagne's above Urbana. So, yeah, Champagne's in the 5% risk, that brown risk there. Yeah, so Lindsay is live. I live in Florida, but have family in Fort Wayne. It looks bad. No, I won't say that it looks bad. I won't. You know, I really thank you, Oscar, for the roses. Miss Toy, thank you. And Healing, thank you again. I don't like using the term "it looks bad" because when someone says it looks grim, it looks bad. I'll say we have a potentially dangerous storm. Because dangerous. You could be driving and a tree falls on your car. Dangerous is as weird as it is. A lot of people don't look at a bad storm and if someone comes up to them and says, "Oh, it's gonna get real bad out there," they get worried, they get panicked. But if you say it's potentially dangerous, just take precaution. People are a lot like, okay, and they're just more cautious throughout the day. So, yeah, I won't say that it looks bad. I'll just say that in this one, there is the chance for a possible dangerous storm to come through, but overall, my confidence level is on the low side. I don't see much confidence in the system producing a massive, very strong tornado. I don't have any confidence in that. Skip-a-doodle, awesome. Actually, Detroit's too far north for this. I really don't see, again, thunderstorms. Thunderstorms will come through Detroit, but it's not that it's going to be, a massive tornado taking out the skyscrapers of Detroit. No, nothing like that. Landon, thanks for all this info, bro. You are welcome. You're so helpful. I try to be. Caden, Knoxville's fine. Knoxville is fine. Nothing to worry about there. Our news stations say otherwise, unfortunately. Well, yeah. Why? Because they get pumped up. They know tornado season's right here at the very beginning, and they want people to keep coming back. They like to go after that fear level. And they do. If I was seeing a bunch of clusters here, if we were having warmer temperatures, if I was seeing these possibly start hitting around 4 p.m., my confidence level would say, hey, we may have a strong tornado come through. We may. But right now, if anything, I just see some maybe spin-ups. Funnel clouds being possible. But I don't see it's enough to really come down and do damage. Could I be completely wrong? Yeah. No one is ever 100% certain, but given the data I'm given right now, I don't have the confidence to say that there's going to be this massive tornado outbreak. I don't. Could you have funnel cloud outbreaks? Yeah, you can have that, but it's not going to be like, oh, we're going to have EF1s and EF2s dropping every 20 minutes. No. Why did the threat shift way north of Alabama and Tennessee this week? It would be your jet stream. So originally you had two jet streams, and it formed a trough, and that trough was centered over Missouri. And when you start really looking at it as a whole, that southern level came down, and it came up, above Louisiana, Alabama right here, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. So it came up, and it collided up here, which gave you this. Indiana University? I would assume so. Yeah, I would assume it's safe. Is there any areas of Tennessee that never gets hit? Can't say never, because we had storms come through both sides of Tennessee. It happens. We just had the whole Nashville situation last year with Nashville and Campbellsville or whatever that is. Fort Campbell is. Where Fort Campbell is. I forget what town that is, but where Fort Campbell is. They had that situation, and that was center. So yeah, Tennessee, nope. Nothing is ever a no-no for that. Tornadoes can happen anywhere. They can happen in major metro cities. Los Angeles could have a tornado come off the coast. It could be a water spout. So there's nowhere, like we've had tornadoes in the Rocky Mountains. You've probably seen that out there on TikTok last year. Yep, Arizona. There's no place that doesn't get them. Now, Alaska is pretty unheard of, but Canada gets some pretty big ones. Canada gets the nice big ones, and those guys, they're crazy. They just walk right up next to them, basically. Like, I thought they were AI generated. We thought they were AI generated, and it's like, oh no, there was a tornado warning issue. That was true. I was like, wow. It was like, wow. So yeah, Yeah, that's what we have going on right now, guys. I'll be live though for this tomorrow. That's for sure. I will definitely be live for this. That's why I originally started to work on this system here, and I got all 8 monitors here, which works out very, very well. It allows me to be able to see all of the radars at one time. I can manage a lot of stuff for the stream on this side, and I can pay attention to what you guys see over here while getting in flows of information on the various screens. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely do what I can to provide you the most accurate information. You know, so we're still waiting to know, is this going to be an El Nino or La Nina season? Do you work for anyone? Myself. I work for myself. I really think that hurricane season is going to be active. And I think hurricane season is going to be active because the oceans are warming up. The temperatures are already high 60s, low 70s. I think that we could definitely see hurricanes, nice sized hurricanes this time of year. Not this time of year, but like this year, I think we could. Central Indiana, midnight. About midnight. Not this midnight, but like tomorrow midnight. Monroe, Michigan, I don't do direct cities. I will say it's going to be the bottom portion of Michigan, the very, very bottom, down there where Ohio and Indiana share a border. That's what I would say. I would really say like southern Michigan, almost like right around this area. That's where I would say. Yeah, and moneymaker, same with Ohio. I mean, Ohio's gonna see a lot of thunderstorms. Now, your tornadic risk is going to be up near Lima and to Fort Wayne. Lima to Fort Wayne. That's a big thing. Lima to Fort Wayne. And then after that, so from Lima to Pennsylvania, which is most of Ohio, just thunderstorms. Just thunderstorms is all. You know, Northwest Ohio is going to see that 5% risk. It's a 5% tornado risk. So it's a little bit of a elevated risk, but it's not anything overtly high. It's nothing I would personally go to sleep to tomorrow and be like, am I gonna live? No. You know, no. Could you see a funnel cloud? Yeah, you could definitely see a funnel cloud. But I don't think this is anything. This isn't gonna be no Wizard of Oz style massive tornado picking up houses. No, it's just a slight risk that we're gonna have to deal with, and the sun will rise again the next day. It's a big thing going on in Detroit. Nothing too much. Just there'll be some thunderstorms for Detroit. Some thunderstorms. Chicago. Again, Chicago, you have a risk there, but pretty much south of Chicago is going to be where the threat is primarily. South of Chicago is going to be where that threat is going to primarily be. No, Mama Bear, I don't see Wisconsin. I don't see Wisconsin in a threat zone. I really don't. That's why the Midwest is beautiful. You get to see some massive tornadoes, and they're just out in fields, you know? Erie, Pennsylvania, just thunderstorms, bud. Just thunderstorms. Tennessee, if you were to get something that ventures that far south, just thunderstorms. Just thunderstorms. Indianapolis, I don't see Indianapolis in itself being a major tornado risk. I see it being north of Indianapolis. It's a very isolated, you know, this is a isolated chunk of land that we're looking at here. We were on an EF2. We were on an EF2. Color code. So green is your 2% risk. Brown is your 5% risk. 2 and 5%. So it's nothing too major, but it is still that risk issued by the Storm Prediction Center, which is the government. It's the National Weather Service, the NWS. You know, I really don't see this being a massive Threat zone. I'm doing this because a lot of people they see stuff on Facebook, they start to get scared, they hear that there's gonna be tornado outbreaks, there's gonna be massive tornadoes and all this, and I'm like, calm down. Calm down. There's a lot more to it. It's very cold out. We don't have the dew point we need. We sure as hell don't have the temperature that we need. The only thing that we have in favor of producing tornadoes is the jet streams. That's the only thing, and the bulk shear rate. But the helicity is barely there. The cape is really barely there. I don't see this producing that much. I don't. I truly, truly don't. Shy, I don't see South Florida having that. No, I don't. And again, guys, you guys are looking at Ohio. You guys can see Ohio on my screen. You know, Ohio's pretty much thunderstorms. It's going to be mostly at just thunderstorms. Nice, relaxing, beautiful, photogenic thunderstorms. I'm going to emphasize photogenic thunderstorms. Oh, hail is. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hail. Gorilla-sized hail. Gorilla-sized hail. And that's what... I'll show you guys this. Gorilla-sized hail is definitely possible. Okay? If you happen to live in the black, say goodbye to your windshield tomorrow. You're not going to have a windshield tomorrow. Just saying that. Just saying. You're not going to have... There's a 15% severe risk. You're not going to have a windshield tomorrow. So go put cardboard under it. Go put a blanket under it. It's whatever you need to do. Put it into a garage. 2-inch size hail. Hi, Cheryl. Hi. Pittsburgh's just thunderstorms. Photogenic, beautiful thunderstorms is what Pittsburgh will have. 2-inch hail. You're going to have hail the size of this falling like fast-pitched baseballs coming down at you. Hail this big, okay? Hail that big. Hail that big. Okay? Think of this Coke can, okay? It's about 2 inches. This Coke can is about 2 inches. Imagine Coke cans coming down, flying at your windshield. That's what you guys in the black are gonna have to deal with. Chicago, a lot, Fort Wayne, Toledo. You start looking at this, portions of northern Indianapolis. Giant size hail. Giant size hail. Good thing I just left Chicago, right? Right? No, sure don't want it. Morgan goes, nope, sure don't want it. Yeah, that's absolutely insane. The hail threat is going to be ridiculous. And that's going to be throughout the day. The hail threat's going to be throughout the day. Primarily, though, at nighttime. Primarily at nighttime. I live in the black, someone said. I'm in danger. Yeah, we don't talk about that. But, like I was saying here, guys, I am definitely prepared for this, okay? I am definitely prepared for this. We'll be live tomorrow. That's definitely no issue. Finally putting this all to good use, So be sure to tap that follow button there. Sure to tap that follow button. Oh, Dylan Scott. Again, there is that tornado risk. But I really don't see it being a massive threat, If you feel safer, feel free. But it's not going to be if you don't, you're going to die type of deal. It's not going to be like that. Not going to be like that whatsoever. Kentucky will be fine. Kentucky's going to be fine. Kentucky will be fine. So hail is Hail, there's tornado risk. It's a 5% tornado risk, similar to basically what the black is. I don't see it being a massive tornado risk. EF1, maybe an EF2. That's even pushing it. I think we'll see funnel clouds and pretty much only funnel clouds. We'll probably see some rotation on radar. Tornado warnings don't mean there's a tornado on the ground. You have to actually look at the actual warning. It'll say radar indicated or confirmed or a PDS or tornado emergency. I don't see a tornado emergency and I don't see a PDS happening. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. But I think that we're just going to see some spin ups. Nothing too major. We don't have, this is going to happen tomorrow night into early Wednesday morning. It's all going to be nocturnal. We're not going to have that daytime heating that keeps adding fuel to the fire. It's going to be working in a headless state, basically, to where it's nighttime, whatever energy is left in the atmosphere, it's going to use up. And once it uses it up, it's just going to basically wash itself away, what we call RFD, rear flank downdraft. I think we're just going to see a lot of RFD. And it just is going to be a big wet mess. That's what I view. That's what I feel. Southeast Wisconsin. Yeah, Southeast Wisconsin, there is a risk. There is a risk for hail. Yes. Thank you, Cheryl, for the heart me and the hands up. Thank you. And thunderstorms in themselves aren't bad. I want to make that clear. Thunderstorms, just, don't be going out there trying to hold up a aluminum baseball bat and you'll be fine. Like, the big thing that I would see happening is trees coming down, maybe some power outages, the occasional tree into a house, but that's kind of rare. Thank you. I really am more concerned about the hail if you want to go down that path. I don't see, this is not going to be a massive tornado outbreak. I know a lot of people go on Facebook and they start seeing and reading all of this stuff. Big Rick, bring the trampoline inside, right? I don't see this being a huge massive concern. Guys, if you're new here, tap that follow button. I'll be live tomorrow covering all of this. Again, Michigan, winds is going to be bad. That's the hail that you guys see there. That's your hail threat through the SPC. The wind threat, though, the wind threat does extend into a bigger portion here. It looks like an avocado. Yes, I am, Cheryl. Yes. Simulcasting to YouTube. Yes. The wind, the hail is going to be the biggest threat. I really don't see it being a massive tornado threat. They'll probably issue a tornado watch. They probably will issue a tornado watch, but it's not going to be, I don't think we're going to see a massive thing here. I'll show you. So we have already had a good bit of tornado watches issued here. Okay. A lot of people don't realize we've already had a handful of tornado watches issued right now. This is your tornado watch here. And I see that extending. This is what has been issued so far. Pretty much Dixie Alley. Not even Midwest. This is all Dixie Alley and East Coast. This is your 2024 tornado watch. But this is your wind threat. And this is your hail threat. And that hail does extend out into New York, West Virginia, and western central Pennsylvania. I want you guys to take a look at that. From Missouri to Pennsylvania. Kansas, nothing happening in Kansas. Oklahoma, nothing happening over there. Nothing happening for at least a couple weeks. Again, appreciate it, guys. Tap the follow button if you are new here. Tap the follow button. I do breaking news coverage. I do severe weather coverage. And space launches, because space launches are absolutely cool. Chicago. Hell. Chicago is hell. Up for you to decide if I said hell or hell, because they're both the same thing. But you didn't hear it from me. Minnesota's fine, Ella. Tennessee's fine. Again, guys, Illinois, Indiana. Just if you live, the closer you live to Chicago, the greater risk you should be. Being weather aware, that's a big thing. Lots of hail coming down tomorrow, guys. Lots of hail coming down tomorrow. Going to boot camp in Chicago tomorrow evening, so this will be fun. Boot camp in Chicago? What are you talking about, Evan? What's boot camp in Chicago? That's not where Leonard Wood is. That's not where Paris Island is. That's not where Lockland is. So again, guys, biggest threat, I think hail, wind, and the occasional tornado up and around this area here. Is it, Evan? I didn't know that. I thought so. SEAL training was originally in Michigan, and then SEAL training moved to Florida, and now you got BUDS, which is out at Capicone or Coronado, out in California. So they moved the SEAL training like all over the place. It was Michigan, and it was Florida. Now it's Coronado. It's insane. The lake wind makes sense. It makes a lot of sense why they would have it up there. You go, what is that, Superior? Yeah, that's Lake Superior, isn't it? I could be wrong. Hold on. No, Superior's up here, right? Don't shoot me, guys. I don't know my Great Lakes. I know all the Great Lakes. I don't know where they are, though. I live off of Lake Erie, so that's what I know. Michigan, Lake Michigan. Okay, thank you. Superior is the one way up north. Cool. Thank you. Yeah, because Ontario is obviously like the top northeast one, minus Erie, because that's near Ontario. Okay. So yeah, Lake Michigan, yeah. Michigan had some good tornadoes last year, though. Detroit had a couple warnings come out, shockingly. They had a couple warnings come out and get dropped for them, so that was interesting. Last year, Toledo had that as well. I am alive, Camden. Yes, I am alive. Nothing like the cops knocking on your door because your friends and followers decided to call for a welfare check because they didn't hear from me for 6 hours. I'm like, well, I'm not going to sleep for the next 3 days. My anxiety's already bad to begin with, and having cops come to your door for no reason while you're sleeping and then wanting to bust your door down. They called my EMT friend, and he would have to, because he's like, oh, I'll come up, because he has to be the one to give permission. Do they not know that you sleep? I guess not. I think people think I'm a robot. It's like they called my EMT friend who was on his way up here to give them permission to kick my door in to make sure I'm alive. I was like, I just talked to your officer like 3 hours earlier or whatever to file a report because I had some confidential information get leaked in the docs. I was like, did he not tell you guys that I called in and was like going to be busy and decided to take a nap? I don't know. So that kind of freaked me out. I'm shocked at the hail system, though. This hail system is going to be absolutely asinine when it comes across. It's going to be absolutely asinine. Insane here, guys. We're going to see some nice photogenic storms tomorrow. Why are we saying... Because there is a tornado threat, and this is coming straight from the National Weather Service there, Emily. So, Emily, if you don't know, the National Weather Service out of Norman, Oklahoma, handles pretty much all of the severe weather outlooks and everything, and they've issued a tornado outlook ranging from Missouri here all the way up through Ohio into Michigan. So that's why. Don't trust the news. Don't believe the news. The news is only there if they've been wrong in the past. Then they take a very liberal approach and they try to not be wrong, so they'll downplay a situation. Or if they want to get views for the day because they need to generate money from clicks, they're going to overhype it on purpose. So, great question. Yeah, this is your tornado outlook. I don't make these maps. These maps come from the government. They get done several times a day, and that gives us in the news field, in the storm chaser world, an idea. And this is going to begin tomorrow night into early Wednesday morning. Well, Olivia, it's, they issue these outlooks because they rather people are in the know about it. That way, in case something happens, they're like, oh, well, I'm not so surprised. There was talks about it. I guess it's actually happening, versus being completely caught off guard. And that's why it's such a large area. We know where storms are going to form. We know where through the models, because when we look at models, okay? We look at a ton of different models. We have access to see the jet streams. We look at the whole science behind it. And that's when we say, hey, if you're in from point A to Z, if you're between here, you could expect this possibly. It's just like playing it safe. That's what it comes down to. It's playing it safe and mitigating any liability and risk, because then someone can't come back and say, you guys were full of shit. My grandma got killed because of you guys. I'm suing you. And now the government's like, well, we've issued this outlook. It was up to the news to disseminate the information. If they decided to not disseminate the information, then that's on them. What does the brown mean? It's your 5% tornado risk. Again, I don't see... tornado. A tornado could be an EF0 tornado. It could be a very small, minor one, but it is considered a tornado. And I think we're going to see possibly some EF0s and EF1s. A very very, very slight chance of an EF2. Very slight. I don't see that happening. It would have to hit the exact right conditions in this given data set to produce an EF2. That's my opinion, though. That is my opinion. Now, the big issue that we're going to be running into, Big Papa, if you will, is the hail. If you happen to live in the yellow, you may not have a windshield Wednesday morning. If you live in the black, you most likely won't have a windshield Wednesday morning. So, here's your warning. If you live in the yellow or black, put the vehicle in the garage. Put it in the garage. Or put blankets on your windshield, or put cardboard. Whatever you need to do. But make sure it's not like... Make sure the cardboard isn't like super thin, any kind of shit. You be looking at like something that has like some corrugated material behind it. So that way, like, double wall is the best scenario. If you got a double wall box, corrugated, put it under your windshield wipers, and you'd be good to go. And if I was you, I'd also tape it on the side so that way wind don't get behind and pull it out. And now you're littering. That's a big, big, big thing. Pennsylvania, you can see Pennsylvania there. We're going to get the hail most likely. We're going to get thunderstorms, beautiful thunderstorms, photogenic thunderstorms, but we're not going to have a tornado threat. Back window, too. The back window is a little bit harder. Back window, what I have seen people do is, what they'll do is they'll open up both doors, okay? Because, shockingly enough, your side windows are a lot less likely to get hit by hail. And they can handle a lot more damage, from punches and whatnot. Because it's a weird type material. It's not the same type material on the front and back. What they'll do is they'll take cardboard, okay? And then they'll stack cardboard, like 2 layers of cardboard on the back. And then what they'll do is they'll take... I'll use my press pass here, for example. What they'll do is... they will take... basically, like, they'll open up both doors... and then they'll put it around the doors, like inside in your back seat, and then they tighten it and strap it down so that way that didn't go over the way I was hoping. But you like use ratchet straps. Barely use ratchet straps, because if you start doing that, you're going to crush your C pillars or your B pillars or whatever you got inward. Don't do that. Just be careful with that. But that's what a lot of people will do, is they will take like ratchet straps and then they'll slowly and they'll tighten it. You want something that can provide enough tension so that way the wind don't get back and underneath, but you also don't want too much tension to where you possibly could damage your vehicle. And this is... the hail is really going to be throughout the day, but I think it's going to kick up around 6 p.m., 6 to 7 p.m., I think. The small circle is going to be where you have the greatest chance of nice size hail. Now, we're talking gorilla size hail, guys. We're talking Coke can size hail coming down at you about 2 inches. About 2 inches. Okay, so... Andrea, not that I've seen, no. Not that I've seen. I have not seen any schools talk about any close, because it's not going to hit during the day. It'll be fine for school. Kids will be fine going to school and coming back from school. It's the overnight threat into Wednesday that is the biggest concern. Tabitha, 5% is your risk. Basically, what that black-yellow is, the black-yellow portion of Ohio, it's a 5% risk. So it's a bit of an elevated risk, but it's not huge. It's not huge. Not sure quite in Monroe. Honestly, Michigan's tornado threat is going to be like hugging the border of Indiana, Ohio. It's going to be very, like, those counties that border the border, get the joke? That border to border, those are going to be where you have your greatest chance of a possible tornado in Michigan. So... That's a big thing. You can see Muncie. Muncie's just above Indianapolis. Bloomington's just outside of Springfield there. And they're going to be in that 5% tornado risk tomorrow. But hail is going to be your biggest threat. It's going to be widespread. A lot of people are going to see hail. We're going to see a ton of hail videos. We're going to see a ton of hail photos. And that's what a lot of people are going to be talking about, is all this hail. Where the hell did all this hail come from, So, that is a big, big, big thing here. What time should the South Bend area expect this? The South Bend is going to be probably that 1, 2, 3 a.m. 1, 2, 3 a.m. Not tonight, but tomorrow night. So you got like 28 hours till then. Winter all at once in the form of hail, right? What about the Fishers? Fishers, Indiana. I don't know. That's not a major city that pops up right on the map here. Again, I look at a whole area. I look at a whole range of area. A whole range of area. Philly, mainly wind and thunderstorms. Wind and thunderstorms for Philadelphia. Kentucky, Heather. Kentucky's not too much for Kentucky, especially down there. You know, it's the occasional thunderstorm coming through. Louisville is probably very likely, but nothing more than that. And then you guys can see where Muncie is. Muncie's right there on the map. It's more of a hail threat. We'll have a 5% tour risk. 2 inches, Cameron. Coca-Cola can size, pop size can, hail. Pop can size hail. So pretty big. Pretty big. But guys, be sure to hit that follow button here. Be sure to hit the follow button. I will be live tomorrow. I appreciate everyone tuning in here. I need to go tend to some things here, but we will be live. I'll be live tomorrow night going over all this here. I appreciate everyone who has stopped by, who gifted. Much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. And I will be doing a video here later on tonight in regard to some new information. Whenever the new maps come out from the National Weather Service, it will be the most up-to-date. And you'll see that in the morning, most likely, when you all wake up. And I'll probably be awake still. So, thank you all very, very much. I will see you all tomorrow.